Hello guys, today I want to talk about how I managed to get through some really difficult times in my life, to share what I did and actually helped me to go through this. I want to share this because managing stress for diabetics is really important. We know stress is having a very big impact on our blood sugar levels, and it's critical to know how to deal with this during stress, and it's not easy sometimes. Today I will just share what helped me, in the hope some people will also find it useful. What I share with you today, it's something I learned myself through hardship. It's nothing learned from books or from specialists. Also, it's very important to note this is what helps me, and it doesn't necessarily mean for you is the same. But still, I think it's important to share this experience. The first thing, the most important thing, I found it very useful and helped me was to stay positive. I know it sounds crazy, and I know you don't like it and sounds very like basic. But before you get annoyed, stay with me because I will expand on this more so you understand what I mean. To stay positive when you are really upset and depressed, right? Sounds very difficult to do, and it is actually. How, when you are so depressed and so low, how to stay positive? It's not easy indeed, but I learned something. It's important, and actually the main thing is to learn how to find positive things. So let's compare colors with happiness or sadness, like bright being very happy and dark being very upset and depressed. So even in the darkest moments, you need to learn, and I've learned how to find a better shade of the black. So imagine you're looking at a black wall, and if you learn how to change angles, and if you move up and down and move around, you will eventually find the shiny spot in that pitch black. It's always a little bit of better colors shaded. That little patch of brighter color is the point I learned to focus, and this helped me. So if you focus on that specific brighter patch, it's actually the point, the anchor point to grab, to cling on, to pass through this difficult moment. Usually when we are in this deep, difficult moments, it's not much you can do straight away. This takes time and patience, and this is what actually makes it really hard, because it's hard to be patient in those moments. But if you find these points, anchor points, it just helps you to pass through, and I found them really useful. So this patch of brighter color really are things in our life. So it depends. It can be something directly connected to the problem you have, which is causing stress, which is family, financial, health, anything like that. Or it doesn't have to be directly connected. It can be anything in your life in that moment or just before it happened, which is causing you joy or it makes you feel better. So you need to learn around, because it's most likely must be something there which doesn't look too bad, and it's something you like, keep with, and you just keep doing that or use that to ease the pain to go through it. In these difficult moments, I found it like you don't need much. It's just if you lift up your feelings a little bit, it just totally shifts everything in your favor. So you go from seeing everything really bad to it's not that bad, I can cope with this, and you start to be positive, and it makes you feel better, and you see the hope. Just it takes only a little bit to shift from feeling terrible to it's not too bad. I'm not sure why our brains are like that. So as soon as you fall down and you feel really low, you start to look at all the problems, not that specific problem which caused the pain. You start to look suddenly on other problems which were on the back of your mind, and they all immediately come in front, and they become the focus. I have this which is bad, I also had this, and together with the others my life is terrible and nothing works. And this is how it works. It's like it's a black dark man there waiting for us to trip, and as soon as we trip, brings everything and takes over our mind and makes us feel really, really difficult. But finding one reason which give you hope and joy, just kind of pushes back again all those moments and makes you feel better and gives you a little bit of oxygen and gets you through the day. Learning to look for the positive things, actually, it's something I try to use more and more on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be only when really bad things happen. I found it very useful. Smaller things which puts me in on a bad mood, and it becomes more like a habit. And I think it helps me to lifts me up immediately in the bad moments. And I think the more I do it, it helps me to look more positive and stay more optimistic. Being the opposite, as if you don't do that, you actually always think of the dark side, on the empty side of the glass. So it's like an exercise. I think it's like when you go to the gym, and the more you train it, the better and easier it is, and the harder it is if you don't do it. And I think it's really like an exercise, to exercise the mind to look for positive things. The second most important thing I found very useful is to not think too much about myself. It sounds a little bit nonsense, but it is. So the more I think about myself, the more you kind of feel sorry for yourself, because you are in a situation which you don't like. It just hurts yourself so much. And the more you stay there, the worse it gets. It's fine to stay there for a moment, because we are not robots. We have sentiments, but after a while you need to kind of shake it and move on. So presumably you make a plan for the bad situation, you write it down, and you know the steps you need to do. As long as you can't do that just then, and you need to wait, it takes time. You need to get on with whatever you have in your life and start to do your things, whatever that is, job, daily activity really, and try to forget. And the more you get engaged with those things, the easier it is to kind of forget and to trust what you wrote down, like the plan. So you need to trust the plan and stay positive with the plan is going to help, and just get on with the day. That helps your brain disconnect and makes you feel actually better. The third important thing is, of course, doing sports, staying active. If you are on my channel for a while, I love activity, I like sport, I like being active, helps my blood sugar levels and helps me stay positive. So presumably you have a sport activity for every week. You need to stay with that. I always stayed with activities. So I try to stay positive. I have a plan, try not to think about it too much. I trust the plan I made, and I go out with my daily routine, including sports activity. I cannot tell you how many times sports saved my day. So I had days when I literally dragged myself to the gym or to my jiu-jitsu, and that actually made me just feel way, way better when I finished the session. So for me, it was actually, I wouldn't be here today without sports. So it's really tremendously, it's massive help, because it's giving you this endorphin release after, and it's just enough, a little bit of that, to make you feel better. You are like, I was like a different man before and after in some moments. So you go from dark to bright just in a matter of hours. Sometimes it's difficult. I found it easier with jiu-jitsu, because it helps me disconnect. Gym and run helps as well, because you have, once you finish, you feel more optimistic. But sometimes if I was really upset, I couldn't disconnect. My mind was still there all the time. But with jiu-jitsu, I have, usually when I do jiu-jitsu, I have 2 hours. One when it's just technical things, which is moderate. But when I switch to the second class, which is sparring, there is no way to not disconnect. So that absolutely, because imagine fighting with someone, as soon as you are 30 seconds into the sparring, you just completely forget about it. You disconnect. It's just a matter of survival, because you suffer if you don't do it. So that absolutely just takes my mind out of whatever was there, and I'm in the moment. I fight with that guy and I start to think about techniques, what I need to do, and just taking my mind off, just absolutely massive. I cannot even emphasize on this. So it's very important. Sports help. Just find your sport, whatever it is. I always encourage to have more forms of sport. I have a video about this. You can search on my channel about how I manage my diabetes, and I talk over this quite detailed. So if you want, have a look on my channel. It's a really good video about it. But sports, the more activities you have, the more flexible you are, the more chances of staying positive, fit, and keep the blood sugars under control you have. So these are the main things. There are many others, but these are if I have to choose just 3 of them, these are the one I shared with you. So I think the hardest is the first one, learning to look for positive things. That sometimes I struggle with, but the more I use it, the easier it is. And focusing on my daily routine together with sports, it's point 2 and 3, they kind of they tie in together. And just these 3 together help me to go through moments, difficult moments in my life. And another thing is just to understand and be patient, because you can't just switch a button and get out of the stress. It just doesn't work like that. You need to be patient, and you just wait. You need to actually sometimes you don't solve the problem. You just learn to live with it and be patient and trust things will get better. It's at the end of the day, it's not too much we can do about it. It's we can't control everything. It's another thing I just learned. It's a false sentiment to think if I do the right thing, it's gonna be fine. You just do the right thing and you hope it's going to be fine. But sometimes it's not as we want it to be. And still, the best thing we can do is to hope for the best. And if it's not the best in the end as we want it to be, this is life. Sometimes it's not much you can do about it. So it is better anyway to stay positive than be miserable and feel sorry for yourself all the time. Doing this just helped me to stay better and hope for the best. This was the video for today, guys. Please let me in the comments below, leave comments below and let me know what works for you. How did you manage to get through hard times in your life? Is there anything you can pick which is the most powerful thing which helps you to go through it? If you like this video, hit the like button and of course subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and see you again next time.